Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to David Up Paz podcast. I'm here at Lungolita today with Lungolita's most famous influencer, Hope Monaco. She's her handle is the local plant eater.
Local plant eater.
Yeah, right. And Hope has done a bunch of stuff out here for us at Lungolita and all of her videos. We get like so much engagement. And she's grown her own following as a local plant eater, but also now she's helping other companies through social media management. And so I was like, hey, Hope, why don't you come on my podcast? And she graciously said yes. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Be here.
Yeah, right on.
I haven't been on a podcast.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh, first time?
Yeah.
Oh, how about that? Good. Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason I wanted to bring you on is, well, one is because I'm veg and, you know, I always like kind of like to promote the veg message. But not that this is going to be a conversation solely based on vegetarians, but it's more so about like just eating healthy and whatever works for you. I've kind of like let go of the position of what diet is best, you know, and I just do what I want to do. And that I think that's kind of similar to where you're at. But you had done so much for us, like with respect to the posts that you kind of like were like our first kind of like influencer, I think, that we kind of brought out, you know, and then from that, we were like, oh my God, like there's just like so much opportunity to bring influencers out here. So then from there, we brought more. But you just had done such a good job of like making the videos, and I think the videos that you made like got quadrupled the engagement. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, well, like let's get Hope out here and talk about, you know, what you're doing social media wise and what you're doing lifestyle wise, because I think it's all like super interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, right on. So why don't we start with like social media, because that's kind of like where the conversation started. So you grow your own social media following as like the local plant eater.
Yes.
And so what, kind of walk us through like what the overall arching theme of that page is.
Sure. So like I'll kind of go back to the beginning where it all started. So I went to school for communications, University of Windsor, and I really liked taking videos and pictures like growing up or just whatever. Like I had like an iPod Nano, and like you could take like little videos on it. So I just loved that. And then I got like the iPod, and then after that I got like an iPhone, and I was just taking pictures of a lot of things. Really enjoyed that. And then I just like had this creative thing about me. My mom was always like, you're always taking such good photos, like you need to share these. So then going into high school, I had a project in one of my environmental classes to do like a focus on something that's going on in the environment. So I like picked veganism. I've never heard of it. So I did that, and then I ended up like doing research on it, but like fell in love with the idea of like eating healthy. And when I first started going vegan, it was like for animals. Like God love the animals, but like I started learning about like the health aspects of it. So anyways, I did this project and I told everyone like I was going to try going vegan. And like at the time I was vegetarian. So nobody like believed in me. Everybody's like, you're not going to be able to like stay with it. I'm like, no, like I'm going to. And it's been 7 years in January, this upcoming January, that I've been vegan. So anyways, being vegan, I would always show my family like my recipes. Everyone's like, what are you eating? So I would take a bunch of pictures and videos, and I'd be sharing these beautiful creations with them. So then tying in my communications, love for like filming and videos, my love for like my vegan diet, I ended up making an Instagram page. Everybody's like, you should make a page, share your recipes, share inspiration. So I did that. And then it was during COVID. I had a lot of free time. So I'm like, what do I do in my free time? And I loved cooking, using my vegan lifestyle, loved sharing that with other people. So I ended up creating this page, and at first it was private. I had like 5 followers. I just like wouldn't let anybody follow me. And then I grew up the page, and during COVID I spent my time cooking. I don't have an aesthetic kitchen at all at home, so I've got like this little white platform that I use. I would make my recipes, then I take this white little platform into my room. I had like the sunlight coming in, and I would take my pictures and videos there.
Nice.
Grew my page organically. I really focused on like sharing my inspiration of eating. I feel like there's a lot of vegans that promote like that veganism is the best thing for you, and there's a lot of I'm gonna say like mean vegans, but like people that like if you're a vegan, like they only want to hang out with vegans. Yeah. So I was trying to promote that this is a healthy way of eating. It's accessible for everybody, to each their own. I felt like a lot of people really enjoyed that about my content. I would get comments saying like, you know, I'm not vegan, but I want to try it because I like the approach that you have to it. Yeah. So within sharing that, I've been able to grow up my community organically. I had one video that went viral in 2022, I think, during COVID or like a little bit after COVID. So that like grew my page. That's how I got so many followers from that. And then like I've been able to grow it here in Windsor, Essex. And Yeah. So it's kind of like my story is.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I think you're pretty well known, like in the vegan community locally for sure.
Yeah.
And so, actually, I have a friend, Lauren Toyota, who has hot food. I think it's called. I'm sure page.
Oh, she's your friend?
Well, like she used to date a friend of my. I bet. Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, and I spent some time with her, and so we're acquaintances. Let's say I'll rephrase that, but she had done that exact kind of same thing and built this gigantic following, and she was heavy on YouTube, and so. Yeah, I think there's definitely like space, especially from that space that you're kind of saying of like veganism was like, and not being so like hardline, like this is what you have to do,
yes.
And that's the thing I found when I'm on veg. I always tell the stories like I was so attached to the positionality of being vegetarian. So like, when people would say, well, why are you vegetarian? I say, because I don't want to get cancer. Yes. And it was like very like basically me saying, you're going to get cancer if you don't eat like I do. And then later in life, I like learned that I could let go of all those positions. I didn't have to defend them anymore.
Yeah.
And so when people say like, why are you a vegetarian? I said, well, this is the way I like to eat, and that it opened the door for people to want to learn more. And I think, just from hearing that story, like that's kind of like what, attracts people to your page, because it's not so hardline vegan. And vegans get so wrapped up in that positionality. And my friends, my real friends, they used to own carrots and dates. Trying to be on it. And so, their journey was, they were passionate about cooking healthy food, but they weren't necessarily vegan, which a lot of people thought they weren't, even though the restaurant was primarily vegan. And I remember they had made an announcement saying they're going to start introducing like cheese and eggs, like the vegan community, but just it was actually like kind of like evil, like the attacks that they kind of, and so it's like, that goes against, to me, the whole, like you said, you want vegan for the animals, which is like, from a place of compassion.
Yes, exactly.
So then when someone is not following your set of rules or the way you believe, then you feel like that is a door to attack people. It's like, well, you want to do that to an animal, but you're doing it to a person. Exactly. And so I think where you're coming from is like, hey, this is the way I like to live. And if you're interested in it, follow me. If you're not, no big deal either. Right. And so I think getting out of that positionality is huge, and probably what grew your page.
Yeah.
And when you grew that Instagram page, when was that? Like, when did it kind of like really boom?
It was so I started the page in my, I want to say second or third year of university. So like for the first like little bit, there was like no interaction. Just like my mom, my boyfriend, like my sister sharing my stuff. But then it started to boom, and I think it was like 2021 or 2022. I had like 4,000 followers, a little over 4,000. And then that's when my video went viral. I had 30.8 thousand followers. Now I think I have
from that one video.
Yeah, not from that one video. Sorry, but that one video blew it up, and then a few of my other videos kind of went viral too.
Yeah, right.
And then after that, I lost a few followers, which is fine. But it's been amazing to be able to keep that organic community that I have. Like considering I didn't lose like that many. I've never done any ads or like paid for anything. It's just been only me, just like sharing what I love, like authentically, and it's been like a life-changing thing. Like I've gotten so many opportunities from my page. I've made so many friends, and eating in this way made me want to start like practicing yoga. It made me want to take like this holistic nutrition course I'm taking now. It's brought me so many friends, opportunities, been able to work with amazing brands, some of my favorite brands. So
like
So it's been really, really amazing. And I always try to encourage other people too, like if they want to be posting on social media, that they should be. I wanted to make this page for so long, but I was so scared too, because like I didn't know what other people would think. But now I don't like care at all. Like I don't care what anybody thinks.
And I think that's what's important for people to understand is like you were posting for like sounds like about 2 years with like kind of like very minimal kind of engagement, and I remember when I first started in social media, like I wanted everything right now.
Yeah.
And and I had this belief that you could just start posting and then all of a sudden you're going to gain all of these followers. But what you learn is like, and that's like with everything, you learn that every single thing takes hard work, and you didn't even start in like the boom of like Instagram. I have a friend who was like, she's kind of like a fashion kind of influencer, and she started like when Instagram kind of just first came out, and she
remember that
benefited from that initial growth, kind of like TikTok experience recently with people that, are not as old will understand, like, TikTok, the growth happened quickly for most people because it was like this new platform and you're following people, and so that was what was happening in Instagram. But now Instagram has become very hard to gain followers. Not hard, but it's like, well, no, it's hard. It's hard to gain followers. Yeah, it's hard to gain followers, and so it is like a real business, and you have to be devoted to it. And it's almost like just like any business. It's like Lingua Vita, for example. It's like if I opened up Lingua Vita and expected to be like insanely rich after 1 year, it would be, people would look at me like I was an idiot, you know. But that's what people in social media do a lot.
Yeah.
They think, oh, I can just start posting videos and it'll be easy. And then it's like, well, how am I going to record the videos? So you have all of your own doubt that comes in there. And so you have to stay consistent.
Yes.
And the more consistent you are, the better you get. And then eventually, the one thing that is great about social media is eventually you will hit like a hockey stick kind of like trajectory. It's like, it's flat. And there'll be one moment, one video, whatever, one kind of like new understanding of the way to post, how to, you just slowly are building it. And that's actually what I've been finding in my like coaching business, is that I've tried like all kinds of different models and programs, and every single time I fail at those, I'm learning a little bit of what doesn't work. And I remember watching, have you ever watched any like Brene Brown stuff?
Yes, I look for.
Okay, right. So like Brene Brown, if you watch Brene Brown, that's special. Yeah, she's so awesome, right? And so, but she's like just such a pro up there.
Yeah.
Like she is like, when she gives the speech on Netflix there, it's like, you're like, this woman is so good, right? I was like, I want to be like Brene Brown. Well, Brene Brown is like the result of 20 years of doing this work, right? And so now she looked like this, you know, polished, perfect, you know, but it's like, that was a result of this doing so much. So it's like, social media is the exact same thing. And so like, let's, because we're on social media, now that you're helping other businesses, I actually think you're helping a friend of mine, Nancy. Yeah, right. And so, what do you see, like, what is the first thing you're kind of doing with these companies or individual brands, to get them like, you know, get them some momentum?
Yeah, so trying to help them find their niche for sure, like try to help them find like exactly what they want to be talking about, knowing who their ideal like clientele is, like who they want to be speaking to. I think a lot of people just will like sit down, come up with posts and then post it, and then not think like who they're trying to actually reach, what they're trying to say, like what would their customer need to hear today, or like who they're actually trying to reach. Because there's so many different ways to do a post. You could be like, it's a beautiful day outside today, and then just post that. And like you don't get anybody like reaching out about your services.
The 50-year-old post.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, like there's a difference between like, oh, it's a beautiful day today. Like for example, if you're like a life coach, like here's what you could do today to enjoy a beautiful day. Like take some deep breaths outside, like slow down. If you can't slow down, like message me and I can help. Like something a little bit better than that, but just like the idea of that. And then also teaching them that followers, it's great to have a lot of followers, but at the end of the day, your engagement is so much more important. You could have 20,000 followers, but you could also have like no engagement, or you can have 100 followers and they're all engaging with you. And there's like 100 people right there that could buy your program or be your customer or whatever. So trying to teach them that. And then also to have fun with social media. Like it's very daunting. It's very hard. I think a lot of my clients are older too. They don't want to be behind the camera. They think that they need a young person, which is why I like hired me as well. And like, I need your help. Right. So like having my like young energy with them too, it's also very helpful with them. Just trying to teach them like it can be fun and that they can do it. And that like at the end of the day, there's so much content that is going out that if you post something and it's not like the best, or if they post something and they don't like the way they look, for example, like nobody's going to really remember that. And nobody's looking at you either like, oh, like if you think you had a bad hair day, nobody's going to think, oh, so-and-so had a bad hair day. So just about like being authentic you, and being consistent, as we mentioned, like saying smart quickly. Like I can't get my clients to go viral, but I can try to teach them to ways to like build up their page, build up their clientele, and hopefully we can get a video to go viral. But
sure, yeah, there's so much you said.
Yeah,
I want to just like unpack a little bit. The first thing was like, which I'm kind of hearing as like quantity over quality, right? And so like, I'd be interested in
quality over quantity.
I think this is what I believe. You could tell me.
No, I think you're right. I think I just heard wrong.
Yeah, so like I believe that in the beginning you should be quantity. Okay. You should be pumping out a ton of stuff because quantity will lead to quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you need that practice. Like my first post, so embarrassing to like go back and look and compared to mine now, but I had to post like over 1,000 times to get to like where I am now. Like last year I thought I was making like really good videos, but I see the videos I'm making this year and like it's even better. So no, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, good. So because then eventually, but the one thing I've noticed for myself is that I get trapped in like periods of time where I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so how do I get out of that? Let's say, because if you scroll through, if we did a social media audit of my Instagram account, it'd be like, well, you're posting the same thing over and over again. Not the same, but it's like the same style video, me talking to the camera, and like my wife has a huge social media following, and she's a tattoo artist. Yeah.
She's a what, sorry?
A tattoo artist.
Oh, okay.
Package, yeah. And so, and she's done such a great job of mixing her life into her social media posts. And so people like literally feel like know her. They come in and they're like, oh, where are the dogs? How's Harlow? How do you know they're talking? Like, so it's like, it's simple. She's done such an amazing job, but she though is the reverse. She is quality over quantity, which, so I guess as we're kind of unpacking this, is like either will work. Like she doesn't post as frequently as I do, but I would say that she has way better engagement than I do. And because she is the type of person who is like, everyone is noticing, my hair being, and it's like, I mean, I know because I have to take the photos sometimes. And so it's like, I have to take 1,000 photos for the one that she wants to post. So she is actually, and that has worked really well for her. In my eyes, what I've noticed is that I go into these stages of like, I just post the same kind of style video over and over again, and I get trapped in that cycle of doing the same thing. And then I think from there, my engagement and my likes and all of that, the sends and everything, overall engagement begins to kind of decline. Then I guess what I'm doing is I'm not really noticing that trend because it's subtle, right? So what is your suggestion to people who get trapped in those cycles of posting the same shit?
Absolutely. So I would look to see what content is doing the best. So like, as you mentioned, like saves, comments, shares, likes. But then I also like sit down with yourself and think, what do you like posting though? Because I found for me, actually, it's so funny. The moment before I went viral, I was so like caught up in like, I don't have a lot of followers. I've been posting so much. Like, why are people kind of following me? I was like kind of in that little rut. As soon as I let that go, and I'm like, you know what? I am posting because I love to post about plant-based foods. I love to share my journey. I love to share recipes. The moment that I like let that energy go, I went viral. So also like knowing what you like to post to, because people want to see content that you're sharing, like, and people can tell like when you're being authentic with it or whatever. And then I also look at people too that you find inspiration from. So people that you see that are in places that you want to be or making content that you want to make, get inspiration from them. But solely making content that you enjoy making the most. And then also the content that your ideal customer, your ideal client, what they need to hear, what they might need to see today.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's the other thing that I think is so important. And is, and this is where I've recently kind of like recognized that I need to be speaking to a specific person. And I think a lot of people, including myself, get trapped when they first start in social media. They think they need to speak to everybody.
Yes.
And Alex Hormozi calls it when they need to get niche slapped.
Yeah.
And so, but I get it. Like I understand the fear. Like I've actually just, I've been sober for like 13 years now. And I recognize that, hey, there's a lot of people that are like me that didn't feel like they were like an alcoholic, but recognized they needed to stop drinking and they didn't want to go to AA. And so I'm just in the process of launching this new program called Sober Achiever.
Me.
Yeah. And so, but that is so insanely specific.
Yeah.
It's like, it's for high achievers, right, that don't feel like they have an addiction, but they do know that it's time to basically stop, and they don't know how to stop. Right. And so I'm going to give them that path. Right. And it's so beyond, it's like so laser like targeted. And now even I can already envision all the content, and it's going to be speaking right to them. Up until this point, my content has been very broad. And I even recognize now in creating the Sober Achiever, I'm fearful of like letting go of my own personal brand, who is broad and kind of like, it's not, I don't want to say it's useless, but it's like, it's so broad that it's like, people don't, like, I'm just talking to everybody. And because of that, it restricts my growth, right? It's like you even just being vegan have narrowed the niche a little bit, right? And so I think really narrowing down that niche, and it's not like men and women who are between 30 and 40. Like that's not a niche, right? It's like a niche is, vegan that want to learn more how to cook better. Like that's a niche, right? And so I think really helping people dial that niche in. And how do you experience like the customers that you work with, like, holding on to that broad message?
You know what? No, they're actually like pretty open to letting it go. So what we actually do is we come up with 3 target audiences. So I'll make up like little characters for them. So I'll take a picture of somebody I find on the internet. I'll put a name of them, their age, where they're from, and I'll write like a little scenario about them. So for example, like so-and-so is, for example, like if you're trying to lose weight, for example, you can say like she's a mom that is 50. Her kids have left the house, or whatever. Like she's an empty nester now. She's been so focused on her kids, and now she's like looking for a way to like lose weight and like focus on herself. So like we'll make like 3 little people that they're talking to. So every time they pull up their camera, for example, let's say her name was Anna. They're like, okay, like I'm talking to Anna today, and they have like a picture of her, even though she's pretend, but they're have like these people that they're talking to, and they find that that helps them so much, because then they're like knowing who they're talking to, who they're trying to reach, and there can be so many Annas. And then like we reassess that again, like after 6 months.
Right.
We can change that, but that is so helpful because we pull out our phones and we're thinking like, who am I talking to? Like, I don't know who I'm talking to. So
yeah, for sure.
It's very helpful.
Yeah.
I recommend that even for you too.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to do that. Yeah, for sure. And I've kind of like kind of settled on like mainly men that are like high achievers that are like kind of like checked all the boxes in life, but are still kind of like miserable.
Yeah.
Recognizing they're not enjoying life, even though they got the house and the boat and the cars and the family, and they're like still like, wait, is this it? And so that's kind of like where my coaching went to, is kind of who I'm targeting now. But this whole silver achiever thing is like even like more niche. It's just so dialed in, but like I've been doing this for, I don't know how long I've been doing it now, like almost 5 years of like social media posting, putting my message out there. It took me 5 years to like get niched, and like, and to recognize the value of it. And so that's the kind of thing I want people to understand, is like, this is like a long game, and I think when people are, especially in today's age, are looking for like that instant gratification, but the instant gratification I think has to come in like getting the one ball. Because like you mentioned, and there's some book out there, I can't remember what it is, but he talks about like all you need to be super successful is 1,000 true fans.
I feel like I read this book.
Yeah,
I feel like
it is. We're gonna have to the Zach to pull it up from there and put a little thing. But it's like whatever that book is, and it's like it's so true, because if you have 1,000 people that will just do anything that you say, it was like, hey, here's my course.
Yes.
It's $100. And they all buy it. It's like that's all you ever really need. And people get so focused on this big giant, I need 1 million followers. It's like no, don't. It's like I've built this great coaching business. And yes, I have 13,000 followers on Instagram, but as I had mentioned, I was using all these strategies to try and grow that, and recognizing that they weren't all like engaged followers, and they weren't even my target audience that can afford to pay for my services. Yeah. So while I'm happy to still give them the content for free, they aren't the people that are actually going to buy. They're not like the real true fan that is like so engaged. Yeah. Right? And so I don't know. I think a lot of people just need to recognize that 1,000 real true followers is like a huge win, and I'm guessing that the people that you work with are kind of beginning to see that now, that because you probably get people results pretty quickly, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But for sure, like at first they have the same mentality, like I need 1 million followers, whatever. But when we have that conversation and I mention that to them, they're like, that's so true. Just need few that are actually committed to me and trust what I have to say, trust what I have to sell. Yeah. Yeah.
And like even like what you had mentioned about like, we started this in, early like 2018.
Yeah.
2019. That's where we're, I guess, it's like a
scary
6 years up after this. But, in 6 years though, what you've been able to build and like the way it's changed your life, and like, because of that, you opened up all these doors, like, you're getting free vacations to Lindelita and other places, and you're coming out to these spaces. And so it's like, wow, it's like you created a whole entire, life and business and everything in a 6-year window, which is like really short when you really think about it. But people, I think if they don't get those instant results, they may just stop as soon as like when they're not getting that in the first month or so. And then the consistency starts to fall off. And so how do you keep people staying consistent? Because I think that's probably one of the, I'm still carrying a lot. Yeah. I just hired somebody else to be like, I need you to post for me because I'm doing so much other stuff that I can't sit and post for 30 minutes every day, which sounds actually, that's a belief system. Honestly. I'm not tuning into right now because if you recognize how important it was, you would dedicate the time. I'm just putting importance over other things. Yeah. But yeah. So what is like what are some tools maybe that you're giving people to post consistently?
Well, I mean, like for my clients, I mean, they are paying me, so like they have to be posting consistently, or I'm posting for them. So I think that's what makes them consistent. Yep. But then again, I think I like to think, and I've been told that I make social media fun. People like are enjoying working with me and like actually enjoy their social media because like they have someone to help them with it. So I think that makes them excited as well to be posting and like having all these conversations like we're having, like sharing with them, like again, engagement's what's most important, followers, art, find what you like to post, etc. So that makes them like have this realization that like, oh, I can do this, or this is actually better than what I've been dreading and thinking is. And I think when you see other people like posting so much too, you think you have to be posting the same things that they are. And then again, just like finding what works for you makes it fun. Yeah.
And I think like something that was super critical that we kind of just passed over was when you had said like you had let go of, the feeling like you need to post in a certain way. And so you just said, I just want to post what I want to post. And so, I've kind of coined myself the letting go coach. Mm-hmm. And what I teach people is that when you learn to let go of the things that are blocking you, once they're gone, then the things that you wanted begin to flow into your life. And it sounds like that's like kind of what happened for you, and what you're also kind of teaching your clients as well, right? So what's the balance of like really tuning into like what it is that you like to do and making sure that you're still putting out, like you're still like on the edge of sit like on the crest of the wave of creativity where you are, keeping your page fresh. Because I feel like you do that like really well, like organically, like, it's like, it doesn't feel like, maybe you are really thinking about it, but like, it's like, it just feels like you're kind of like, whatever you're doing, it feels natural.
Yes.
Yeah. And like if that comes across in your page. And so what's the balance of doing what you like to do and creativity, I guess?
Thank you. Yeah. So I think it's a big thing between like, I feel like I'm always so on being creative. I'm on like with my clients. I feel like I love that, but I feel like I don't have a lot of time to not be creative because I'm always like supposed to be creative out with people. And then with my own page, I think like I have that flexibility to just post what feels good for me. I don't want to ever like pull up my camera and think like, oh, I need to be filming this, or this is something that I should record. I just pull it out when I feel like, this is a good time for me to be filming, or I feel like I want to be sharing this. I think a lot of like downtime too, because we're always plugged in on our phones, and because I'm always on my computer, I'm always on my phone. My screen time is scary, but it's not because obviously I love what I do for my job, but it's not like I'm choosing to just scroll all day. Like I'm involved. Yeah. But I really focus on having a lot of downtime away from my phone, like unplugging, coming to La Villa, leaving my phone in the dome while I like go out and explore, practicing yoga, like doing those things. Then it reminds me of why I'm actually like trying to post to, like, I could go out to a fancy dinner and be like, oh, I need to be sharing this. Like, I want to tell people in the middle of a fancy dinner. Right. Or I could just like have just practice yoga. And then I realized I don't need to do that. I can share like a smoothie recipe that I made, or just something simple, or not post at all. And I also find too, the content that I don't put so much energy on is actually the content that does best. Huh. 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I posted a video. I made like this new edamame on this like little dip, and I made it, and then I wasn't planning on filming. I thought I should like set up my little white thing and like film it, but I'm like, I don't really feel like doing that right now. So I just took a tiny little snippet just on like my family's dining room table of my dinner. Literally took me 2 seconds, posted it. I haven't gotten like 50,000 views in so long. I had 50,000 views. I'm like, are you kidding me? That video took me 2 seconds. There was no energy behind it. It was just like, I'm going to take this video just in case. Yeah. So I find too, when I don't, like, as you mentioned, when I don't put a lot of thought or too much energy into it, let it go. Just share because I felt like sharing. That's what does best. Like my videos that I put like this much into, I find end up doing the best.
Yes. I think what you're describing there is that like a lot of what I teach people is that like I hold up this ball and I say like, this is a circle of what you know. And so everything that you've ever been taught, everything you've ever learned your whole entire life, it's inside of this circle. So when you are trying to solve a problem or be creative, most people only go inside of that circle. Yeah. Some people will go further and they'll go to Google, so they have a bigger circle, but real creativity comes from like getting plugged into like the present moment. Yes. And so that's kind of like what you're describing here. It's like, there was not a lot of mind in there. It was like, I'm just going to post. And because of that, it's like it dives into like this real creative stuff. So when it's really creative and authentic and unique, then people respond to it because they tune into that, And so that's like, the reason that we created Novita was for people to like come out here and just get disconnected from the mind trying to tell them everything that they should be doing, right? When the real shifts happen in the stillness.
Yes.
Right? And we resist, and especially now, like, because of social media is like and stuff, we're resisting the stillness more than ever. It's like, it's harder and harder for me to get clients to like quiet the mind because the mind is just so busy. It's like people wake up and they start scrolling through their phone. And
that drives me nuts. Wow.
And so it sets your day off and you never get tapped in. And I love what you said about how do you stay creative is because it's because you're plugged into creativity.
Yeah.
Right. And so my wife always says like, these comedians, Google watch comedians, she's like, how do they come up with this? I said, because they're plugged into being funny, right? It's like, if I got plugged into being funny, I would probably be funny too, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's super important. And so when people are thinking about, hey, I want to, be in my business on social media, it's like, you got to get plugged into social media and what it takes to post and release content and, film. And I think a lot of people get wrapped up in like making sure they have all the personal equipment and all that stuff. And I see like you can tell me better, but I feel like the trends are going away from like edited stuff.
Yes.
It's more so like they want people to turn their camera on and talk to it.
Yeah. Like sometimes all you need is an iPhone and like a $15 tripod from Amazon and you could make the best content. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that I forgot to mention too, because when you said your first little thing, I was like, there were so many like great things in there. And I think the one thing that people get trapped in niches is that they're following these big social media accounts who have broadened their niche now because they have millions of followers. But they probably started out, like I think of Alex Hormozi, he started out only talking to gym owners that wanted to scale. And then from there, he was able to continue to build his audience. And then he started talking to everybody. I think Tony Robbins used to sell something crazy. I don't know. It was something about snakes. I don't know. But he started off, I don't know what it was. It was like, but he started off only helping these people. And now he helps everybody. Right. And so I think that's the other thing that I wanted to say about niching is like, and your story is similar. Like you kind of started out as like this, I want to post about veganism and then it broadened to social media and created all these other opportunities.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I've got so many amazing followers like within the community too that I would love to say like they're my friends. And it's funny, like I'm here to share food and people are like, share your clothes, share more about what your dog eats, share where you live. I'm like, how to like see more too. It's just so great. It's like helping me with like so many other niches too, like sharing more about like skincare and so many different things too. And like learning from them what they want to see from me too. So like even your community can help you broaden like what else to share.
Definitely. I just started a segment called the Haas Hotline. So it's like, ask me a question. And so that,
I saw that.
Yeah. And so that gives me more ideas for content and then it gets me connected to the community. And it's like, I think if you go into it with the mindset of like, hey, I really want to just like help people. And so, if you have that intention to help, it's like, it isn't giving that or receive. So then you'll gain as much as you possibly need.
Yeah. If you go in with the intention of like, I want to make money, like I want free products or I want this, and rather turning it to, I want to help, I want to serve, I want to give, then you're going to get that all back.
Yes. That's very wise.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've always said that's like, it isn't giving that receive, but people hear that, but it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. And I have this process that I walk people through. Is like, I say, imagine you won the lottery and you've done everything that you've ever wanted to do in your life. You've traveled, and I really make them go through the process. And the whole, I'm going to give the whole thing away. The whole idea of it is after they've filled all of their material needs, I say, well, now what are you going to do? And so I get them connected to what they really want to do in life. And so now I say, okay, now you've started a business and you have the most successful, furniture building business because they've tuned into the fact that they really like building furniture. And so I say, now what are you going to do? And then I say, well, I probably help people.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, if you just start there, all of that stuff that you listed before will come into your life, right? And you got that, like you're already understanding that. It's like, if you really truly help people, the life that you've always dreamed of will flow into your life. And it's like, I think and it doesn't mean that you get wrapped up sometimes in like getting followers, getting new clients and all that stuff. But every time I get wrapped up in getting, what I begin to notice is like things start to become more difficult.
Yes, exactly.
I start feeling forced and and so then I'm like, whoa. And that's where the Haas hotline came around. I was like, let's just focus on giving, you know? And so then those videos did way better than my other videos. Yeah. And so it's like, it's removing those blocks that are most of the time unconscious. And I'm guessing that that's probably what you're doing for your clients too, is like you're recognizing in them, like you're taking them outside of their own jar and you're saying, look, you're just focused on getting more followers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huge. Awesome. So let's just shift a little bit into like the whole like veganism thing. And because, you know, for me, I actually went veg for like
years of
since 2005.
Okay, so many.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, like 18 years or something like that. And so, and I've kind of like bounced back and forth. I would say that I eat like 80% like vegan, but I'm not like super strict on like if I go to a party and there's pizza, I'll eat it, right? And so, but what I found was that I originally when I went veg, it was for the health reasons. Because I had like my business partner was like hardcore vegan, and he was kind of like guiding me, you know, and I was seeing, you know, the health benefits, and so I started reading all the books, and I read China Diet Study, and like as I started just like getting deeper into it, I was actually doing it to disprove my business partner.
Okay.
Because I was like a hardcore meat eater, and I was like, you're full of shit. Yeah. Then the more I read, like I was like, wait a second, like this seems to be like a way to like live your life where your body's not going to be inflamed and everything. So I did it all for health reasons, and my health dramatically improved. Like when I went veg, I lost like 25 pounds, like in like a month. And people were like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like I just stopped eating, you know, and all of my markers, like blood tests and everything came down, and my risk for disease came down. And, you know, even like my mom actually died of colon cancer when I was 9 years old. And so I think there's been this underlining like, hey, I want to make sure that doesn't happen to me. Yeah. Right. And so I had to just recently like get a colonoscopy for life insurance. Mm-hmm. And so like I was like, there a little bit. Yeah. And then when after I got the test and everything was clear, which I thought it was, I was like, that is because genetics play like such a small role. If you've completely changed the environment, then you're gonna be completely fine. And so so I went veg originally because of health reasons, and that's where I was really strong on this position. I was like, everyone knows you're all gonna die.
What was your friend thinking? Like when you told them you were going vegan or veg, like especially from being a meat eater? Like,
my friends are all my friends still to this day are all meat eating. Yeah. They still make fun of me.
Yeah. I feel like it's such a guy thing, like being a meat eater. I don't know, like it's like an identity thing. You know?
Hunt, kill,
provide.
Yeah, and of course. And so my friends still make fun of me, but now they're like more accepting of it. And it's kind of like a laughing joke. But it's like, but the reason it shifted so much was because I let go of the position. I bet, like, I don't even know if vegan and vegetarian is the healthiest way to live.
Yeah.
You know, like I think maybe like a vegan diet where you eat some fish every now and then is probably more healthy than strictly vegan, you know? But I just let go of the position. I don't care anymore. Because so now I just do what I want to do and I feel good about. And for me, it shifted though. Like it was all, like I didn't care about I loved animals like my whole life, but like I didn't care about the animals.
Yeah.
But something about going veg was like, it made me way more compassionate. Yes. And now I just live a life where I just don't want to kill anything.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Yeah. Like I don't kill bugs in my house. We're just down on the cliff there, and there's all these swallows that are like nesting in this like one bowl that we have to repair. I'm like, oh no, we gotta get that built quickly because like we're gonna kill these swallows. So it's like, and so that just feels really good to me. And yeah, wouldn't my life probably be easier if I ate chicken and I was able to get more protein and pay me, you know, for like a guy that wants to build muscle and everything, but not care.
Yeah.
You know?
It's better. Like the way that you're feeling is so much better. Like a real thing.
Because even when I went veg, it was out of like fear, right? It was out of like fear of getting sick. And now it's like, no, it's just like, this is just the way I want to live. I'm like in a place I'm like, essentially, right? And so,
you know, that's good for you because you know, like tomorrow you could go eat if you want it. Like you could change. So you know, like that feels what's best for you and you doing that.
Yeah. But I'm still a little bit attached to the identity of it all. Like, and I'm assuming you are probably too. Like, it's hard to not get connected to that identity of like, oh, there's a guy that's veg. You know, I'm also the guy that doesn't drink. And so it's like, it is a little bit of.
I don't drink either, so.
Oh, you don't? No, how about that? Yeah. And you know, the other thing that's funny about what you just said there is that when you, similar to stepping into the field, right? That's going to be the title of this podcast. Stepping into the field of whatever it is you want to do, right? You know, it's like when you step into the field of like not drinking, for example, when I quit drinking, I didn't know a single person that didn't drink. Literally, I didn't know anybody that didn't drink, and I thought they didn't exist. I thought they were like fairies, you know.
Fairies.
You know, and so, but then when I stopped drinking, like I was immediately just being introduced to people that don't drink.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, there's a whole world of people out there that aren't drinking every night. Like I love Scott thing. And so, for me, the being veg and the not drinking to me is about like just the mental clarity. Like I want nothing more than to be plugged into the present moment. And anything that takes me away from that, I'm actively trying to get out of it, you know, like even like caffeine will like pull me out of that present moment and my mind starts kind of racing. So
I gave up caffeine 2 years ago.
That's like my next thing is like just getting free of all of that so that I'm just so clear. So like, no wonder you're having so much success. It's like, you don't have all of these blocks, right? Because they're all blocks, like a highly inflammatory diet, right? As your body's working so hard to like process all the shit you're putting in it, that it's like it takes up energy. So now you don't have energy to focus on creating, right?
Yes.
Alcohol, like it's poison essentially, right? And so then your body's focusing on getting rid of that poison.
Absolutely.
Caffeine, like it's speeding up your mind, stimulating, and so you're more in your mind, right? And so what are your advices on that?
Like,
what's the next thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're pretty clear. Right?
Like I'm obviously like have like my blocks. I think like just really going deep and continuing with what I'm doing, what I love. Like my next thing is my nutrition course that I'm taking. Like hoping to learn from that as well, learn more from what I already know. So much that I don't know. So learning so much more, but then also applying that and like I want to help other people. Like I love my social media. I'm so grateful that I get to wake up and do what I love to do every single day. I love helping people in that sense. But like at the end of the day, like I'm very passionate about like the plant-based eating, like as you mentioned, like getting rid of the blocks, like being clear, slowing down, intentional living. So I'm excited to teach other people that as well. So that's like my next.
Is that where you see do you see like a shift for you, like out of like the social media management and more into like a nutrition coaching kind of thing?
Yes. So helping, like my goal right now is working with as many clients as I have been and am, and like learning what works for them. And like helping them with their social media, that I can like learn from that too, and then be able to like one day just have my own social media and take all of my learnings from everything I've helped everybody with and put it onto myself, because I love helping out people, as I mentioned, but like at the end of the day, I just want to like be posting on my page the most, but my page is what goes at the bottom because I'm too busy doing others. So I'm excited to like have that sole focus like on that, and like my end goal and vision is to be able to have like a cookbook with Local Plant Eater.
Oh, cool.
I'd love to have like my own like lifestyle wellness like platform that I like share recipes on, and like I partner with like locals and like build up like this community that people can come on to online.
Yeah, and so you want me to tell you what your block is?
Yes, please.
Because I'm in coaching mode.
Yeah.
It's like you could do that right now.
I could do that right now.
You're literally good, right? And so, but we get wrapped up in like, oh, I need to make money, and so you put off the thing that you really want to do to go and say, because this over here, you know it, and it's easy, and you can go help make money quickly. This is scary, and there's self-doubt and worry and fear and everything that goes along with that. But like even for me, like I'm a person who I'm not a chef. Like what I mentioned, like my mom died when I was 9, and so like I was like a 9-year-old, even earlier, 7, because she was in and out of the hospital. I was like making my own food. So if you put a 7-year-old in charge of what they're going to eat, it's like, well, what are they going to eat? They're going to eat chips, pop, sugar.
What we
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like my dad was terrible. Like it was just awful. Yeah. So those habits have stayed with me my whole entire life. And this has been like this constant struggle. I talked about in the podcast last of trying to undo that. Right. And so what I would need would be like someone to show me how to eat, that eats in a vegan, vegetarian style manner, right? And so I think a lot of people want to go veg or vegan. And they're like, what's the number one question that you get off that?
Like, where do you get your protein from, and like what like you're eating?
That's it.
I'm eating so much. You guys don't even know.
Yeah, they don't know, right? It's like everything. When I say I'm a veg, they say, well, what do you eat?
Yeah.
Because it's like everything is meat.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like I eat so much now. My family's like, you eat all that? Like you're eating that? Like, yes, I'm eating that. Like I need to eat a lot. Like because like plant foods digest so quickly and like they're low in calories, so I need to be eating like more. And it's so funny. My family's always like, I don't know, like if like a hollow leg or something. I don't know where it goes.
Exactly.
But
right. Yeah, it's like I think I remember when I was like doing like heavy into news, like here's a steak. It's like this big and it's like whatever, 20 grams of protein, let's say. And here's a broccoli that's 20 grams of protein with less calories. It's like just it's like gigantic, right? And so, yeah, you could eat so much when you're eating in this way in Whole Foods. So, anyways, what I'm getting at is that like I would be like the perfect client for you, right? Where you'd be able to come in and be like, hey, you want to be veg and you want to know what to eat, and I'm going to teach you, guide you through like, hey, this is how you could be eating, and also probably you would help me, you would pull me out of my own jar and help me see like, well, this is why you're making that decision, why you keep going to, you know, maybe you're not preparing or whatever, you probably see something else. So it's like the audience already exists for you.
You're right.
Yeah. So you go after it.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to hear that. Thank you.
But I mean, I get it. I understand that you have this great business and you're helping other people. It's hard to let go. And you think that we always think that we need more education and all of this thing. But it's like, you already know so much. Like you know more about cooking vegan than 90% of people out there.
Thank you.
I just know by looking at your page, right? I was like, you are such a better vegetarian vegan.
Thank you.
But anyways, we'll leave it at that. So we'll follow your page and we'll wait for
wait for the
Hope's nutrition courses coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the courses too would be like that. That's where the scalability is like courses, you know. Yeah. So giving people an entry point, you know, someone that might not want to pay you $10,000 to work with you, like in that capacity, but they might buy your $100 course or whatever to kind of like as an entry point. You know?
I want to make it affordable for people too. Like I want to be able, like as you mentioned, like having my niche, but also making it accessible for all too. Because I think a lot of people think like eating vegan is expensive, which it can be. But like when you rational it out, like if you're not getting meat in your groceries each week and like you're getting like more vegetables, like it can even help. But I just want it to be accessible to like.
You already see it.
Yeah. I know. I see
the whole course.
I know. But everyone asks me, like, what do you see your future? Like, I have it all. I already know what it looks like. I just have to get there. I just need to start going.
You just have to get beyond that limit of thinking that you need to do all these other things and check all these other boxes.
Yeah.
Have a certain amount of money in the bank before you can make the leap or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, we'll wrap it up there. That was a great conversation. I'm so glad that you came out, and I'm sure we'll do more with you.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe one day there'll be a Hope Monaco retreat. Well,
that'd be me.
Nutrition.
Nutrition.
That.
Here you get the balls rolling.
There it is. Stay tuned. Follow me and follow Hope, and you'll be able to find. So everything's the Local Plant Eater.
Local Plant Eater, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for taking it.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.